Then we are good to go.
Okay. All right.
Sorry about the
Hello.
mess behind me.
Oh, no, you're fine. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Read and Crochet Along, episode 7. I still can't believe we're on episode 7. That's amazing, amazing. And thank you to everyone who has joined us for all the episodes and all the parts. And once again, you don't have to do this in order or have been joining us at the time. Just jump in whenever you want to. That's part of the adventure. So if you're new to the RCal, there is a link to our kickoff episode in the description box, so we encourage you to go check that out. If you don't know who I am, I'm Kathleen Fuller, and this is Katie Brohard, and we are doing the Read and Crochet Along together. And so what it is, in a nutshell, we're doing 60 granny squares that I've designed, except Katie has designed this part to granny squares I'm very excited about. And they're inspired by my book covers. So every 8 weeks, we upload an episode with brand new granny squares, 6 books, 6 granny squares. And again, the patterns are on my website and the tutorials are on my channel. And so, yeah, that's it in a nutshell. And I'm going to turn it over to Katie because I'm super excited to see these granny squares.
Okay. Well, the first ones I'm going to be showing you are the squares that you designed for part 6, because I have to show off how I did my part 6 squares
Right,
first.
right. That's
So,
right. Yep.
so these are your designs, but my version of them. And I I usually make a handful of changes because I can't follow directions, I guess. Sometimes it's because I legitimately just didn't have the color or something. But
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times it's because I just want to do me. And that's okay because I mean, it's fun to see different versions of them. So I'm going to
Yep.
show the first one I have here is an Amish reunion. Let me find it in my notes here. Hmm. There it is. Okay. So this is the book cover. Let's see the book cover. And this is my square.
Ooh, I like
So
that.
I don't know if you have yours with you, but I made some changes on this one.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
subbed this dark thyme
Mm-hmm.
instead of the turquoise because I
Yeah.
really liked the green and I was trying to
Mm-hmm.
keep more of the green in there.
Right.
And
No,
this
that's
darker
really
green's kind of
pretty.
like in the shadows on the book.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I actually had to do a whole double crochet extra round
Mm-hmm.
to make mine bigger. So I know you talked about that in your video, like if yours was too small.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to add one too. The way the pattern ended up coming out, it was like this is kind of small, but that's okay because you can
yeah,
just add and keep adding if you want to. That is really pretty. I like all the green. I really
yep.
do.
So I all the greens from down here and a little bit. I mean, I
Mhm.
still have a little bit of the blues because I can't remember
Yeah.
what your
Mine had
original
more
four
blue,
colors.
so mine lead more toward the blue parts of it. So that's
Yeah,
what,
yours was blue.
yeah, so yours is more green, which is great. I love that cover, by the way. I love the
I do
colors in
too.
it. Yeah,
I
it's
like
really
that cover.
nice.
And then the next book is an Amish heirloom, and this is my square.
Pretty.
So
That
this
looks
one,
that looks different too.
yeah, I used Aran instead of white in the center, and I used coffee, which is a darker brown, instead of
Mm-hmm.
the cafe latte. And I used thyme, again, that really dark green. You had a pale yellow, and
Yep.
I liked this dark green instead. And again,
Mm-hmm.
it was because I must have been in a green mood, but when I looked at this cover, I felt like it was a very green cover, and I wanted
Mm-hmm.
to really celebrate the greens. Plus, I can use darker yarn at home personally, crocheting by myself,
Yeah.
than you can easily do if you're making a video. So
That,
I
you know
actually
what?
love that square too.
I do
And this
too.
book cover. It's
And
probably my favorite book cover of all of them.
oh, Really?
the whole series so far.
Wow. Now
Love that one.
that's a really good point you made, because that's why I don't do dark colors. I tried to throw black in there one time because a lot of the book covers have some black. There's no way nobody'd be able to see what I was doing. I could barely see what I was doing. So I'm glad that you're showing like an option with the darker colors.
Right. So,
Yeah.
but if you guys are y'all at home crocheting along with us, you're not having to film. You're not having to worry about if
Mhm.
your yarn shows up on the camera or not. So you could be like me and rebel and put in a darker color if you wanted to. Then we
Rebel, I
had
think it's creativity.
be creative. I like that. That's nicer. An Amish garden. So this is not showing up the colors really very
Yeah.
well. I need a light. That's a little better. Oh,
Oh,
there
there
we
you
go.
go. That's
That's
it.
better.
Yep.
That's
That
more
looks like it.
accurate. And then here
Hmm.
is my block.
Pretty.
Doo-doo.
I like,
So
did you like
let's
that
see.
block too?
I did. I liked this
Yeah.
block too. I
Hmm.
used country blue instead of white because literally I'm just out of white at this point. We've used a lot of it.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, what else could I do besides white? And then I used light jasmine instead of medium purple because I don't have medium
Hmm.
purple. So that was kind of the closest I could get. But
Yeah, that looks
so
good.
those subs were out of necessity rather than creativity. I won't say rebellion, I'll say creativity. And then I did a hand to hold.
Hmm.
And I really went a little different direction with this one.
Oh, yeah, you did. But
So there's that
nice.
one. So I don't have medium purple. So my
Yeah.
options were that light jasmine or this
Hmm.
um just bright purple. It's called amethyst. So
Hmm.
I decided to go ahead and go with the amethyst and
Okay.
as the purple just because my high school colors were purple and gold. And so it's
Okay.
kind of looking blue
It is
on the
looking
screen,
blue.
but it's
Yeah.
not blue at all. It's like a Barney purple grape. I don't know how I
That's
can get it
interesting
to.
though, because it's yeah,
It's
okay.
really
I'm seeing
looking
a little bit
blue,
of
but it's
purple.
not
Yeah,
blue.
yeah.
Or if I,
Yeah. But
it still looks
if
blue.
your school colors are blue and yellow or gold, that would
If
work
I put
too.
it next to the purple, that makes it
Mm,
look purpler.
a little bit, yeah. Yeah.
It's
I can
it's
see
a
some
it's
of it.
really like a Barney purple. So I don't know why the
Yeah.
camera's showing it that thing.
Hmm.
But anyway, so that's why I wound up with this bright purple. And then I used soft white instead of white, which isn't that different. I did this one before I ran out of white, obviously.
Hmm.
And then I didn't have gold. So I've been subbing saffron every time you've used gold. But again,
Hmm.
because I was doing this back in the early part of the summer and I had my homeschool's colors are also purple and gold. So I just went
Oh,
with the bright, it's just bright yellow because I don't have
yeah.
the gold. Anyway, I think this is the end of the soft white. And then I think the pale yellow was actually the only thing that was the same as yours. So, and
It looks,
it really doesn't look as much like the cover as I generally try to stick
mhm.
to.
But the square looks great. That's my favorite square out of all of them. You did a great job with that one.
Yeah. And I think, is this the cover? One of my covers, it feel like you had two people on your cover and I only had one. So I guess it's not this one because there's two people on this cover.
Well, sometimes what they'll do is they'll do reissues of the books, and then they might change the cover up a little bit, so that might be it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely know there was one of my books that you had two people on your cover, and I had the
Mm-hmm.
exact same cover except one person was not there.
Interesting. Yeah.
Here's my copy of An Honest Love. Here's my husband saying hi to our
Hello.
viewers.
Hi.
And here
We
is
like
my
special
block.
guest stars.
Yeah.
Very
Here's my
nice.
block for An Honest Love.
Very
So
nice.
I subbed light jasmine for pale plum because I don't have
Mm-hmm.
pale plum. And I used baby pink instead of light periwinkle, probably because I didn't have light periwinkle. I subbed
Mm-hmm.
bright yellow for gold. Again, I didn't have gold. And I subbed country blue for white. So basically, I did nothing you said.
And it
Ah,
still looks great. It still looks great.
I tried to stay in the same color families as what you
Mm-hmm.
had used. And I also put my colors in a different order from yours because I
Mm-hmm.
wanted the sky colors to be together and I wanted her dress on the outside. So the sky in the, is purple and yellow. And so I
Mm-hmm.
wanted all these sky colors in the middle. And then I put her.
That's interesting because I
So
like the sky colors on the outside. So yeah, that
I did
looks,
it quite different than you.
yeah. Looks great.
The further we get along in this, the more I think I find myself, I don't want to do that, and kind of wandering off.
Yep, and that's the point.
All right, and then our last book, and the book that we're going to use for our book discussion today, is A Man of
That's
His
the
Word.
one.
That's the one. Yours has 2 people on it. I knew there was one of them.
And then this
Yes,
is
it's a very so it's actually a very different cover. The only thing the same is the girl. Like the whole
Yeah.
back of my cover is quite different.
Yeah,
So
that's definitely is a reissue. So
okay.
this is pretty.
But I use mostly the same colors as you because I like your colors.
Yeah.
Except that's carrot instead of pumpkin because there's some orange in my cover, but it's not very red.
Mm-hmm.
And I did light gray instead of hot red because there's no red at all on my cover.
Mm-hmm.
So I put the gray from her dress.
You did a nice job with the middle, with the popcorn stitches. That looks really good. I struggled a little bit with mine, but I was like, oh, I'm not going to do this over. But yeah, that looks really good. Yeah, this is the one where the couple on the front are married in real life.
Yes, you told us about that.
Yeah. And actually, I love this cover too because of all the gold in it and the fall looking. And then I don't know why they kind of, when they reissued it, they made the background look a little like, a little dull. But some people like those colors
yours
better.
is a little more fun. I don't disagree. You're not wrong there.
Yeah, but I can't remember when they reissued that one. And I'm not sure what the other 2 look like in the series, the reissues. I don't know. I don't have those. But
I don't know. A lot of times I've bought these secondhand just because the older ones are hard to find.
Yeah, right. Understand. And thank you very much. Well, very good. Well done. Okay, so we'll go ahead and move on to our book discussion, Man of His Word. And if you have a Man of His Word, you can find the questions which
either version.
What?
If you have either version.
Oh, either version. I thought you said I have a question. Yeah, or if you have either version, exactly. In both versions, you're going to find the discussion questions, but we're going to, so you can, write, read along as we do this. And if you want to put a comment or answer the question, feel free to do that. But okay, so here's question number 1. And when I was going through these questions, I was looking at how detailed my question, because I write the questions in the backs of all the discussion guide questions are mine. And I'm like, oh, wow, these are so detailed. And then as I, came along, my questions got shorter and shorter and shorter. So probably the next book is going to be like, who's the main character or something like that. But so here's the first question. When we meet Gabriel, he is struggling to hide his love for his new sister-in-law, Mariah. He also deals with the guilt of coveting his brother's wife. Have you ever wanted something you couldn't have, and how did you handle those feelings? And it doesn't have to be as dramatic as somebody, being in love with somebody else, somebody's spouse. But
yeah, I don't think I've ever been in love with someone else's husband or even their boyfriend or anything. So
yeah, me either.
I mean, everybody has, times when you want something you can't have. This makes me think of an old country song from when I was a teenager. It was like the straight haired girls all want curls and the brunettes all want to be blondes. Stuff like that, I think everybody can relate to. And usually that like, if I'm, when my kids were little bitty babies, they were so sweet and precious, but I would see people with teenagers and they could run around and do other things. And I'd be like, man, I wish these kids would grow up. And now I've got teenagers and they're all running around and they're more independent and I have a little more free time. But then I see some of my younger friends just having babies for the first time. And I don't really want a baby, but then I kind of want a baby.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. I just remind myself that, for that example, I've already had my babies. I can go back and remember that experience. Like, I don't need to have another baby. And the Bible does very clearly that to covet is a sin. And it's actually one of the more interesting sins because it's a sin that occurs entirely in your own mind. Like, no one ever has to know that you covet. You don't have to steal to commit to, stealing is a whole separate sin. So just that coveting is a very unique kind of sin. It happens only in your mind. Only you really have to ever know that you commit that sin. So the best way I deal with it when I'm being good and right with God is I take it to God and I repent. Like I've got no business wanting something that I don't have ever. And if in God's wisdom, he's decided not to give me something, then I need to trust that that's what's ultimately for my good and his glory. Sometimes I am less right in my response and I sit there and pout.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, that's not my, I mean, like I had a friend who bought yarn and I was like, man, I want that yarn. That's like probably the most common coveting that I do. I have
Yeah, yeah.
serious project envy, yarn envy, and I have to be like, I have tons of yarn. Like
Hmm.
I have no shortage of yarn. I don't need to sit there and wish I had seen her yarn first or something. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah,
But I
but
always tell my kids when they were growing up and they were
mhm,
little and they would get upset because someone got something they didn't or got to do something they didn't. And I would tell
mhm.
them, you spoil the joy of the thing you have by wasting your time wishing you had the thing that you don't. So I try to remind myself of that. When I'm wanting something I don't have, I remind myself, there's so many things I do have, and there's no reason to spoil the joy of those blessings because of the one blessing for whatever reason I've been denied.
That's really good. That's great advice. Yeah. Because it's true, because if you're too busy thinking about what you don't have, you can't enjoy what you've got. And how many people do that? I mean, I've done it,
Oh yeah.
and it's yeah, no, that's really good. And then taking it to the Lord. I mean, my thing is not, I've never coveted anybody else's relationship or a person in a relationship or anything like that. But um, I'm tall. And so growing up tall, and I was tall when I was young, and the tallest girl and out of out of everybody and stuff. And so part of being tall is, especially when you get into the teen years, you're kind of like, trying to fold into yourself and stuff. And that being tall is nothing I can change. So I got to the point where I embraced it, and definitely wasn't like, I didn't take it to God, because it wasn't one of those things that I needed to take to God. It was just something, and again, it was just me. Nobody ever said to me like, you really just don't even need to be here because you're so tall. Nobody's ever said anything like that. It's in your own head, right? And so I guess I was probably, in college, and I was like, you know what? I like being tall. And I've liked being tall ever since, unless, I have very long legs, so sometimes airplane rides are a challenge, and getting up
Yeah.
from very low chairs is difficult. But otherwise, I love being tall. So I think also learning to embrace, if it's something that we have that we don't want, and it's not necessarily, I don't. It's not like I was coveting short people, so maybe this isn't the greatest example, but still, it was like, it kind of goes to what you were saying. Embrace what you
Ultimately,
have. Yeah,
covetousness is all you could flip it around. Covetousness is active, wanting something else, but the flip
mm-hmm.
side of that is being discontented with what you do have. And we are
Exactly.
called to be content. I mean, Paul
Yes.
said, I've learned to be content when I have lack or when I have plenty. Like,
Exactly. And once we can get into that place, and it's very hard, but once we can get in that place, we are content, because our focus is not on what we want or don't have, it's on the Lord. Yep.
yep. All right. Well, question number 2 for you, Kathy. Although Levi grew up in a community that values self denial and loyalty, he has a really difficult time denying his impulses. So think back to a time when you were tempted. Did you give in to that temptation? What was the result? And if not, how did God help you overcome your temptation?
Okay. So that's kind of a hard one. I mean, because I've been tempted about a lot of things. So it's kind of like, where do I even start? Where do I even start?
I mean, who gets through the day
Um,
without temptation?
right, right. But I think that I think if we're going to look at it from an ethical standpoint, which in Levi's case actually is that, not just because of what he did was immoral, having, going after, leaving his wife, going after another woman, that kind of a thing, but it was even double that, because he ended up leaving his faith, kind of a thing. And so for me, being tempted to and I don't want to say this by sounding like a goody two shoes either, because I'm certainly am not. Um, Maybe being tempted to take something from work. So that kind of thing. Oh, I think I'll just, take this pen home and I'll bring it back. Well, no, it doesn't belong to me. I can't take that. Or I'll go ahead and use extra paper and use it for personal business. No, I mean, I can't do that, but the temptation is there because it's right there. Nobody's going to know if I take it. I'll bring it right back, or I'll bring back a different pen or whatever. And so that may seem like a little thing, and I can't, and I admit I have done that before. I gave into the temptation of it. And then I was very much convicted of not doing that because it is stealing. It's not mine. It belongs to my job. Now I work for myself now, so if I ever take paper, I'm stealing from myself. But when I wasn't working for myself, so little things that maybe we don't see them as a big deal really are. And I think asking God to open our eyes to those kinds of things is like the big things, like, I'm not tempted to go out and rob a store. I'm not tempted to go out and knock somebody upside the head. None of that is a temptation, but like the little things, they're just as wrong. And so being able to go to God and say, okay, yeah, I could totally take that, whatever, that coaster, but it's not mine. And I don't know why a coaster came to mind, but it did. So that's kind of where, my temptation has been, is in kind of that area.
Yeah, I think since we were just talking about covetousness, like I said, covetousness is the thought part of stealing that can lead to
Mm-hmm.
the action. But in Levi's case, I mean, he was coveting something that wasn't his because the woman wasn't his, and he had his own woman. But you even got Gabriel sitting over there fighting covetousness, wanting his brother's wife, and they both dealt with the same wanting. They were both wanting a woman that didn't
Mm-hmm.
belong to them, and they dealt with it really differently because Levi gave into the temptation and Gabriel fought the temptation really hard. So that was kind of an interesting thing to look at in the story. For me, the most common temptations I face on a daily basis, I mean, I always joke that my biggest sin struggle is pretty evident because you don't become this beautiful round shape without
Same
some
here.
effort.
Yeah.
So obviously, the kinds of things I'm tempted to do most often is eat an extra roll, have ice cream when I don't need it, go out to eat instead of cook at home. That's a constant temptation battle for me. It is a constant one that I struggle and I rarely. It's hard. I look at it like, oh, it's not that big a deal. It's still wrong. So
Yeah.
why do I excuse myself? I don't know. But I haven't come up with a really great, reliable way to resist that temptation. If I ever do, you'll be able to tell again, because my main sin is real out evident. I'll lose a lot of weight, and you guys will be like, look, she's fighting her
I'll be like,
temptation.
you need to give us your secret. You figure it out, let us know. Yeah, that was a go-to for me too, obviously. But I wasn't gonna yeah, that
I'll admit it. I mean,
yeah.
I struggle with little creature comforts of food. I struggle. I
Mm-hmm.
want to eat what I want to eat when I want to eat it. I want everything I eat to taste good, and I want to eat a ton of it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
gluttony. It's all it is, pure and simple. It's wrong.
right.
But I haven't come up with a great. Some days I'll do really good, and then almost always the next day it's
Well,
right back.
and Paul says that too. In separate, I think it's in Romans he says it. I feel like I
Thank
just wrote
God
this
for
down the
Paul.
other day. I've been writing scripture down. I do what I don't want to do, and I don't do what I
Hmm.
want to do or what I need to do. And that's exactly it when it comes to temptation. And we just it's an endless battle. We're not going to win it completely, and we just have to keep going to the Lord. But just real quick, so that's exact. You were talking about Gabriel and Levi handling it in different ways. That was exactly the setup. Like when I wrote the book, I was like, okay, I want to see how these. First of all, it was like, what if twin brothers were in love with the same woman? And then it morphed into what if one brother handled it one way and one handled it the other way? And that was actually a really cool thing to do as a writer, is you get to explore two sides of the same coin with two different characters. And neither one of them were perfect in how they handled it. One handled it worse than the other,
Yeah.
but still, they were not perfect in how they handled it. So Yeah,
No, I
wrong
wanted to
hand.
throw something at Gabriel. I'm like, you should have spoke up way long before.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But
Like,
that's the thing about writing, if the characters have to be flawed. If they're perfect, they're boring and they're not
right.
realistic and they're not relatable. Now,
True.
yeah, not that people are gonna, have this big dramatic, hopefully not have this big dramatic thing in their lives, but who knows? It'll be something else. Okay, question number 3. Gabe loves Mariah, but he isn't honest with her. He doesn't tell her he loves her before she marries Levi, and he doesn't divulge the real reason Levi left. Gabe believes he is protecting Mariah by keeping these secrets. Can you think of some circumstances where hiding the truth might be for the best? And would God approve of that choice? Ah, the big ethical conundrum.
I, I don't know. The Bible's pretty clear that lying is a sin. So
Mm-hmm.
when you say hiding the truth, there's different ways to look at it. Like if you are actively keeping information that someone needs to know from them, that is a lie. That's always wrong. I think that Gabriel was wrong to hide his feelings for her from the very beginning, and definitely wrong not to tell her and her father-in-law the truth about what Levi was doing. Like somebody needed to tell Levi. There was no downside to having more people praying for him, more people seeking him out to try to reconcile him to his wife. Like he didn't do anybody any favors by not sharing that. But there are
Mm-hmm.
some times when I think that, giving more information than is necessary isn't going to help the situation. And in that case, I don't know that I call that lying. There's some things that some
Mm-hmm.
people just don't need to know.
Right.
It's not going to change anything. There's nothing you can do about it. But I don't think that this was that case. I mean, his wife absolutely had every right to know where her husband was, what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you had more people in the community, like his father and maybe the bishop, knowing what was going on, you could have had more people, at, like I said, at the very least, praying for him and definitely um, seeking him out and trying to bring about reconciliation. And instead, all of that, I mean, some of it could still happen, but a lot of it got shot down or was ineffective because people didn't know what was going on.
Right. Right. Yeah. I'll take a different approach on this question, but that's all very good. And actually points to some of the lies in the Bible, like when Abraham doesn't tell the king that he
That
lies and
Sarah's
said
his
he
wife.
kind of he technically doesn't lie, but he also lies because Sarah was his half sister, but he made it seem like he didn't reveal they were married, and
Right.
so
And that
yeah.
was important information that the king needed to know.
But Abraham was protecting himself
Well, that's
actually
what
with
Abraham
that.
thought. There's
Yeah,
really,
but
I
that
mean, I don't think that that was a necessary lie to protect him. There's no good indication in the Bible that the king would have murdered Abraham to take Sarah. There was only Abraham's fear.
exactly. So and I think that's another thing that shows, well, and, nobody in the Bible is perfect, and our greatest heroes of the Bible commit pretty major sins, and
Absolutely.
also show lack of trust. And so that's what was
Mhm.
Abraham was doing. He had a lack of trust that God was going to keep him and Sarah safe. Okay, so real quick, white lie. There's always the white lie, like, no, that dress doesn't make you look fat, or your butt look big, or yes, that haircut is lovely on you. Burnt orange is your color. I mean, whatever that is, because it's not the truth, but it's also an opinion, obviously. But like you said, there are just some things that people don't need to know and they don't need to hear. Now,
But
I
I
think
don't
if
think
you,
that lying is the best policy. If that were the case, I would say, well, I don't think that dress flatters you as much as a different dress might. I didn't have to say, well, yeah, it makes you look huge. But I also didn't have to say, no, it doesn't make you look fat when I really think maybe it doesn't look so good.
well, right, exactly. And so that's what I was going to go to is that,
Oh, sorry. I
so
stole your
no, no,
thunder.
no, 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 that's okay. That's fine because you made my point for me, but it's a good point. That you, again, like with Gabe, him on a grander scale, you think you're protecting that person by telling them a lie, but you can couch the truth in kinder terms. And also continually telling a person a lie because you think that that's going to make that person feel better or to prevent them from feeling bad is a horrible thing to do. Do not perpetuate those things, because then somebody's going to tell them that their hair looks horrible, and the whole time you're telling them it looks great, and then they can't trust you on your opinion. And then they might say, well, I thought you said it looked good. And then do you really think that, or were you just lying? And then it just is the whole thing. So it just kind of shows how lying is it's not good for anything.
Mm-mm.
But
Well, it's not loving
right.
to tell someone what they want to hear, or to think protect them from a
Mm-hmm.
truth that you don't think they're going to like. Sooner or later, like you said, it's going to come out. Or even if it never comes out, you haven't done the loving thing to that person to help
Right.
them learn and grow and just know the truth. Like,
Yeah.
with our society the way it is these days, you've got a lot of people that think that in order to be loving, you just have to tell people what they want to hear. and
Yeah. And mm-mm.
and there's a lot of evidence that sooner or later the truth always comes out, and these people could have like permanent, life altering, major consequences. And you all know what I'm talking about without me having to
Right.
be specific here, that they were lied to because everyone around them just told them what they wanted to hear. So they
Yep.
made these serious choices that they can't undo. And in the end, they've ruined, I won't say they've ruined their lives, because God can redeem anything, but there have been some major permanent and just devastating consequences that they now have to live with, because everyone around them was too busy being a yes man and affirming whatever they wanted to hear, instead of telling them the truth. This is what God's word says. There, he made man and female. There's only two genders. Or this is what God's word says. Fill in the blank.
Yeah. I mean, we have to be honest. We have to be honest. And honest in a loving way too. That
Yes.
is, yeah, that's the thing. We have to be honest. We have to be honest in a loving way. And that's exactly what the Bible teaches. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't do anyone any favors yelling at them. You're not going to make
Well,
them more
no.
likely to listen to you. So definitely with
Yeah.
kindness and love, say, I can't agree with you, and this is why I can't agree with you.
Yeah. And yeah, so we could, ooh, this question could lead to a lot of rabbit holes, but we'll
It
go on to
could.
question 4.
Okay, let's see. Is that me? Yep, that's me. The last question, Romans 7:18 says, I want to do what is good, but I can't. Despite being a woman of deep faith, in her darkest moment, Mariah chooses to drown her misery in work instead of prayer. Why do we often choose the opposite of what's best for us, especially when it comes to seeking God? Oh, I'm glad you're answering this one.
Well, that I think I really think, because if we're doing the opposite of that, we're not seeking God, we're hiding from something that God may want to show us that we don't want to see or we don't want to deal with. It's really easy to avoid. And doing something that's just busy work, or like neglecting your prayer life. Neglecting your prayer life can be as simple as you're not communing with God, which means that there's a bit of a space, and the space can get bigger if you're not communing with God. Or it can be as much as that God really wants to show you something that's going on in your life, and you need to face what part you're playing in it that's not beneficial. So I think and I think it's real easy to fall into the trap of, like, I like looking at Instagram reels, and I like looking at YouTube shorts and YouTube videos, and I like reading books and things like that. But if these things that we're doing if we're doing them and we're stuck in them because we're avoiding something that we need to face, or something that God wants to teach us, then that's just going to make that chasm even bigger. Then you're just going to get into the habit of, like, well, I'll pray tomorrow. I mean, I've done that before. I have absolutely done that before. So I can speak on it so well, because I have done that where there's something I don't want to face, and it's much easier to just hide or do something fun. Or so for Amish, work is a massive thing. That's very important. I mean, that's what everything is based on, as far as like how they, keep their community growing. They work really hard, and they have to work harder than we do because they don't use all of the conveniences we use. So throwing themselves into work, and it can also be seen as an idol as well. That work can be seen as, well, that's the most important thing in my life and not God. So I'm going to make sure that my garden looks this way, or my sourdough tastes this way, or whatever. And I'm not picking on gardening or sourdough people at all. It's just two examples.
A great place to hide too, so you don't have to like nobody. Not only do you not have to face the things that are wrong, but if everybody looks at your garden and it's weeded and your sourdough is delicious and you seem to be doing okay, then people aren't going to go, how are you really doing? Like, they're not going to have those deep check on you conversations. They're just going to be like, well, she must be fine. She must be dealing with it.
Well, that's
So you're hiding behind that from others as well as from yourself and God.
Yep. And then it ends up just getting worse. It never gets better. It never gets better when you do that, because the problem or the lesson or whatever it is that you're running away from or not running to, like not running to the Lord, is not going away. Because you don't acknowledge it, it's going to be there. And at some point, you're either going to have to acknowledge it, or it's going to just slam you in the face, and then you have no choice. So I think with Mariah, she really wanted to avoid what reality was given her because it was painful. But instead of seeking God to help her with that pain, she turned to something very familiar. And that way she wouldn't have to face it.
Yeah. Well, this is what we do here every 8 weeks or so. And it's never too late to join the ARCAL. So if you are interested in hanging out with us and reading books, you can always join in anytime. Read the books. We'll pick one and let you know which one it is, and we'll have a discussion like this. If this is a choose your own adventure, go at your own pace. And I have got the part 7 books and squares to show you now. Now, Kathy is not supposed to have peeked. She's had access.
Kathy did not peek.
About temptation.
Kathy did not peek. I love surprises. I
Oh,
I hate spoilers. So,
all right. So the first book is The Double Dose of Love. Did you lose something?
I did. I lost some sound. It's back now.
Oh, okay, cool. So I don't actually own hard copies of these books, so Kathy's gonna hold them up for you. But The Double Dose, is this the one we're discussing next month? The Double Dose of Love?
Yeah, Double Dose of Love. Okay. It's twins again, y'all. Twins again. I think these are the only 2 books I've written twins in. Maybe. I can't remember. Anyway, so these have 2
like
sets
most Amish families in your stories, if they have enough kids, they have a set of twins.
Well, right. So yeah, well, I think that's actually how it really is.
You just keep having kids long enough, sooner or later.
Yeah. But yeah, these are 2 sets of twins, and we'll talk about this book in a little bit. But go ahead and show the square. I want to see what you did.
Give me just 2 seconds because I have to pull up. I don't remember what color is what off the top of my head, so let me pull up my notes so I don't lie to anybody. Okay, so here's my square.
Oh, I love that.
I tried really hard to do some things that were new. Yeah. And when I designed this one, which is the first one I designed, every technique would have been new, but you have done some of this color work that I used.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think you've done any of this quite 3D spirally stuff like I did. I
have not done spirals because I don't like spirals.
Oh, you're gonna have a hard time.
Wait. No, I'm glad you're doing spirals because I love how they look. I don't like making them, but this is good because this is going to challenge me. So I appreciate you doing the spirals. Absolutely. That's awesome.
This is not going to be the only spiral I show you.
That's no good. Bring it on.
So, all right. So my colors here are light periwinkle. That's this purple here. And that is from, you'll have to hold up the book again. I think it's a dress.
Sorry. Yeah, let me get it up.
Yep, that was her dress.
Yeah, her dress. Mm-hmm.
And then I have this jade, which is the other sister's dress.
Yeah.
So see that? And then I have the blue, which is
his shirt.
Yes, it's called. Oh, I think the blue might be the light periwinkle. I think the purple might have been called orchid. I'm sorry. The blue is light periwinkle, which is one of the brothers' shirts. The orchid is a dress. The jade is a dress. And then the buff is the other brother's hat because I just didn't want to do that brownish gray. But I wanted something from each of the brothers. So the
Nice.
orchid, light periwinkle, jade, and buff. And there's that
Okay.
one.
I don't have all those colors, so I will
So
do
you
my
get
own
to be
adventure.
creative this time.
Yeah.
All right, and then the next book.
My favorite cover, probably of all time, is this one. I love
Matched and
this
Married.
cover, Matched and Married. I think the couple is super good looking. He's so handsome. She's beautiful. I love the pink. I love the pinky clouds and the blue. I love the story. But this story is my favorite out of the three. And I love this cover. So what did you do with it? I know. Ooh, wow. How pretty.
Another spiral.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love
So
that.
again, I'm wondering if my cover is different than yours.
Oh, maybe so. I don't know. Maybe they.
I don't have the Kindle with the cover in front of me because my colors are real different than what
Yeah.
you are. Um,
Yeah, because that's not this one,
Maybe
is
I
it?
have the wrong square. I have the wrong
I
square.
think
I'm
you have
thinking,
the
I'm
wrong
really confused.
square.
That makes more
Okay, here we
sense.
go.
Oh, I
Oh,
spoiled the
yeah.
surprise. It's still a spiral. It's a different kind of
I
spiral.
like it. Oh, that's cool.
All right, that makes more sense. I'm thinking, man, where did I get those colors from?
Well, that's what I was kind of looking at. That's what I was like, okay,
I
she's
know.
out of pink.
I'm like, what the heck was I thinking? I couldn't
Yeah.
figure out what I was thinking. All right, so here's the frosty green. There's some frosty green in the trees in the
Hmm.
background there. The soft white is her cap and his shirt. You can use regular white if you have it. I just don't have it.
Yeah.
Then I did the perfect pink, which was for her dress. But
Hmm.
actually, at the time it was the closest thing I had. But now I have raspberry. So if you have raspberry, I highly recommend raspberry. It is a
Yeah,
closer
that
color
would be
match.
closer.
But it
Hmm.
is supposed to be her dress. And then the carrot, if you look back in the trees, you can just see some fall leaves turning.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I pulled that carrot out from back there. That's
Nice.
the right one, though. I apologize for showing you the wrong square. I'm a
It's
lot less
okay.
confused myself now. I'm thinking, that is so weird of me. What was I thinking? okay,
Yeah, you don't want to go that far afield. All
so
right,
this is
here we
look,
go.
it matches
Yes.
that book so much
Oh,
better.
wow, look at that. Amazing.
Imagine that. So this is my Love in Plain Sight
Hmm.
square. Let me pull it up so I remember the names of the colors. All right, so I did country blue, which is his shirt, and the light jasmine. The country blue is here. Actually, let me see here.
Is this
Let's
her
just go.
country blue? Is her dress the country blue?
No, her dress is this
No.
purple. It's
Okay.
her dress is
Okay.
the light jasmine. I think
Yeah.
the country blue is his shirt, and then
Yeah.
the pale blue and the pale yellow are from the sky, or light blue and pale yellow
Yeah, right up
from the
here.
sky. Yeah, I
Yep.
think that's what I was doing. So there you
Nice.
go.
Nice. I like
Another
that one.
spiral. The three,
Yeah.
all three of them were spiral, you know, some kind of
Yeah.
spiral. And the
Yeah.
construction for them is very different than anything you guys we've been doing
Yes.
so far.
Yep.
So this one, you did do a little bit of like you'll
Hmm.
be holding all three of the spiral colors for this at the same time.
Hmm.
And so you'll have three active yarns going at the same time. This one is done instead of like we normally do a granny square, just starting in the middle and working out. You're actually turning back and forth and doing rows. So
Yeah, I
very
like
different
that.
construction. This one's a little more similar. We are at least starting from the middle and coming out, but again, we're doing little sections and then going around the edge. So
That's really
it should be
cool.
a big change from what everybody's gotten used to over the last
Hmm.
gosh year.
Yeah, it's been over a year, I think.
Over a year.
Hmm.
And I am a knitter before I'm a crocheter, so I will also admit that um this is my first time writing any kind of a crochet pattern. So I hope that it makes sense. And if it doesn't, there's videos.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. All right, what's the next book? Oh, I have these books, Doy.
Yes.
Let's do an Amish homecoming. I like this square a lot. This
Oh,
is my
good.
book, and this is my pattern.
Ooh, pretty.
All
Very
right. So
nice.
again,
It's like a
I
starburst.
like pulling the colors sometimes from slightly different places. So I was kind of
Mm-hmm.
focusing back here for my
Yeah.
colors, or if you turn it over and look at the back of the cover,
Mm-hmm.
I was pulling colors from here
Gotcha. Yeah.
instead of from the front of the cover. Let me
I
pull
love
up
that.
what my colors are. I think this orange was pumpkin,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very subtle, but it's in the shadow that the buggy casts on the ground. You'll see that
Mm-hmm.
pumpkin. And then I had saffron, or if you don't have saffron, you could use gold, and that's
Mm-hmm.
from the sunshine burst. And the pale yellow, which is from the sun as it moves out. And then
Mm-hmm.
this is thyme, which is that dark green in it's almost the trees behind the buggy that are
Yeah.
not getting sunlight on them. And that was what I did.
Nice.
So
Nice.
that one is in and moving out, but you can see, I don't know if you can see this little detail. These
Yeah.
stitches are fun. We work not in the stitch at all, but instead you work in the bump behind the stitch to make it
It's a
flatten out like
that's
that. I don't know
that's
what
a
that's called.
top stitching, I think.
Okay.
Yep.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what the technique was called, but I did it in something else and I'm like, that was fun. I'm going to use that again.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's my favorite one so far. I like the one with the 3D spiral, but I like that one. It's pretty.
All right. Well, then I have an Amish barn raising.
My second favorite cover. I love all the purple and the blue.
Well, I had fun with this one too.
Mm-hmm.
That is
Ooh,
a square for that one.
very
So
nice.
this one is again, we're working from the center out like a more
Mm-hmm.
traditional square, but we're doing these fun little details in our
Mm-hmm.
corners that are fun. And for
Yeah.
this one, I will have to pull up my colors. Give me just a sec. I guess I could have opened all these in advance. That would have been unusually smart, but I didn't. So you'll have to give me just a second to open this up. I think in my brain I thought I would just look at the colors and know, but apparently that's not true. All
It's
right, so this
hard.
is Delft Blue, which is her dress,
Mm-hmm.
and then light jasmine, orchid, and baby pink, and all of that comes from the sky behind her.
Very pretty. Very
There's
pretty.
that one. That's a fun one. And then this is actually my favorite of the ones I designed, although
Mm-hmm.
this was a close favorite just because I liked
Mm-hmm.
that one a lot. But this is my favorite. This is an Amish quilting bee, and this is my block.
Oh, yeah. I like those
So
blocks. Very
the
fun.
actual block itself was inspired by quilt blocks.
Yes. Very
This is
clever.
a very common quilt block color pattern.
Yeah.
And the colors, of course, are from here. Let
Mhm.
me pull up the proper list of colors here for you. All right, so the outside is the turquoise, which is her dress. And then the initial small square is the
Mhm.
minty, which is the
Mhm.
house. And then I have buff and burgundy, which both come from the quilts. Buff and
Yeah. Oh, I really like that one.
so this one's also the construction's a little different because we start in the center here
Mhm.
and then we do some rows and then we put a border around the whole thing.
Nice.
I liked the way that came out a lot.
Oh yeah, I do too. They all look
That's,
great. I love
you
that. I
always,
love that there's new stuff that we haven't been doing before.
they always say that you love most what you work hardest for. And this one was my hardest one to figure out because I
Mhm.
got the idea from a YouTube short where she
Mhm.
just showed her, basically it just looked like this and she just showed going partially around, but it didn't really show how to turn these corners, how to make
Mm.
it line up. And I did Google and hunt around trying to find somebody that maybe had something similar that I could start with, but I couldn't find anything. So it was these, you can see it's not a perfect straight line there, but it was these
Yeah.
corners here and here that I struggled to figure out.
Oh yeah.
And when I finally got it to look at least good enough, I was like, whew. And I think I love this one because it was such a puzzle to
Yeah.
figure
Very
out how
hard
to make
fought.
everything line up. But there, my first foray into crochet design.
Excellent. I'm impressed. I'm really impressed. I can't wait to do those. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm
It's
fine.
done. It's
It's
done.
done. All the tutorials are filmed. All my patterns are written. You can go into the folder now.
Okay, good, good.
I took pictures for you, like you asked, so you can, and the patterns are written out. You can go in and take them and convert them to whatever, because all of that's going to go up on your channel. The
Right,
tutorials will
right.
be on her channel, like they've always been.
Yep.
Um,
Very cool. Well
I
done.
can't believe you didn't look. I've been designing these for like 6 months. It
I
was
know.
not. I'm not a quick study at this kind of stuff.
Well, you did a great job, seriously. And I was like, every time I went into there and I was like, "Ugh, temptation, but I resisted.
I'm so proud of you.
Yes, I like surprises. Thank goodness I do, because that was the only thing that was keeping me from checking it. Okay, let's talk about Double Dose of Love real quick. So this is our book club choice. I'll read the back blurb. Prepare for a double dose of romance and fun when two sets of Amish twins find love. Identical brothers Zeb and Zeke Bontrager aren't looking for love. They have their hands full with a new horse farm, a half-finished ranch house, and a wild colt, thanks to Zeke's hasty business dealings. Now Zeb must contend with Zeke's bad decisions, hidden debts, and tendency to avoid responsibility, which threaten their good standing in the Birch Creek Amish community. When a newspaper ad prompts Darla King to travel to Birch Creek in search of a husband, her identical twin Amanda promises their parents she'll convince Darla to come home. After all, Amanda is the responsible and reliable one. She has always protected Darla, who acts on impulse and trusts people too easily. The sisters' close relationship is strained as Darla asserts her independence and Amanda grapples with regrets of her past and the longings of her own heart. When Zeb and Amanda join forces to protect Darla and Zeke from each other, none of them can possibly predict the outcome, as all four come face to face with their highest hopes and deepest insecurities in the first installment of the Amish Mail Order Bride series. So, it has been a while since I thought about that story. And yeah, it's a fun one. It's a fun one. It was complicated, though. It was complicated to balance two romances and give them equal time and all of that, because I was insane when I wrote Written in Love, which I think that I know that's from the Letter series, but what I'm thinking is that this is the series after that. I gave Phoebe 11 brothers. I have no idea why. I just thought, oh, 11's a good number. Let's just do that. And then it was like, okay, I've got to marry all these boys off. So, yeah.
I'm glad I
And
only have to worry about 4 boys.
yeah, so and the other thing too is like I get contracted by series. So I didn't know how long these series were going to go. There was no guarantee that all of them would be able to get their own books. And spoiler alert, they didn't all get their own books because it was impossible, but I think I covered it okay.
You
But
got them all in, because I remember reading these through the first time and literally like emailing you and being like, I'm really sorry to abuse our friendship, but where do these brothers
yeah.
stories, like how do I find the rest of this family? You're
Yeah.
like, oh, that one got in this book and that one got in this book.
Yeah, and the other thing too is that so I don't write Amish fiction much anymore. I've got an Amish book coming out. It's an independent Amish book that's part of the birthday series, but I've moved over to writing contemporary. So that was the other thing. It was like, okay, well, and I may write on more Amish in the future, but right now I've made a switch. So yeah, it was kind of complicated to plan all that out, and I will never ever do it again. I'm never doing that again. But it's done. Like your squares, it's done.
Yeah.
So, what I wanted to do was something different from writing the twins in A Man of His Word. I wanted to give all four of those characters different personalities that would clash they would clash with their twin, but they would also clash with their their romantic partner, and then it would be all these clashing things going on. Um, and I don't want to give too many spoilers away, but usually when you're writing romantic couples, you want to go for opposites attract kind of thing. Even if that's not the trope, you want to like have opposites. I didn't quite do that in the story, and you'll find out that's a little, um, cliffhanger there. But it was fun to try to figure that out. And just checking my notes here. So also this was the beginning of, so I was asked to write a mail order bride series because at that time they were really popular, and I'm sure they're really popular now. Everybody loves those. But because I can't do anything easy, I had to put my own twist on it. So and I ended up having the ad in the newspaper a little bit differently. Anyway, so that's a mystery that goes on through like I think seven, 8 books maybe.
It's a long time before you find out which brother
Yeah.
caused all the mayhem.
And I will tell you that when I wrote that, I had no idea who was causing the mayhem. I had no clue. And that was another thing. That was another thing. I was like, wow, I'm really stupid. I didn't even figure this mystery out, which is why I don't write mysteries. But I'm like, so it's getting close to the time where people are like, okay, it's about the hello. We need to know.
Right?
And I'm like, who's it going to be?
Who
So
caused
you'll
all
have,
this trouble?
yeah, and you will
I
find
know
out
the
if you
answer,
keep
but I'm
reading.
not telling.
That's right. And I'm not telling either. So there's a mystery that starts in a double dose of love that goes through multiple books, and it does get solved. But anyway, were you surprised at who it was?
I figured it had to be somewhere from that general direction.
Yeah. Okay.
Because by process of elimination, we've had everybody else at this point say what is causing all this, so you could tell
Hmm.
it wasn't those
Right. Right.
members.
Yeah.
So I mean, you were getting down to the like it's got to be one of these handful of people left.
Yes. Yeah. Unfortunately, that happened as well.
But
But
you were
okay.
running out of. I mean, so I didn't really know. But as you read through, if you begin at the beginning chronologically and you read through them,
Hmm.
I mean, everybody's surprised. So well, it's not that one. It's not that one. It's not that one. So
Well,
it's
right. And the other thing too is that not knowing who it was when I wrote those books meant I didn't seed anything. So it was a
right. So you
surprise
had
to no, there were no clues, zero
no
clues
clues other
because
than who it couldn't be because they didn't know.
right. So because I had no clue, nobody else got clues. So that was kind of an interesting way to write a mystery, and I don't really recommend it, but here we are. So anyway, check out A Double Dose of Love and the wonderful square that you made with that. That's my second favorite one with the spiral in the middle. Love that. And this is what we're going to talk about for episode
That was the
8.
first one I
Yes.
designed.
Yes. Episode 8 in 8 weeks. So, yeah.
When will that be? I don't know,
Um,
except that I don't have to design anything for it.
no, I do have to go.
Should
It's a
come
nice
out
sample
Friday,
break.
September 18th, it looks like.
Oh, wow. Oh, and so I have a book coming out August 3rd called Autumn at the Cat Cafe. And that's going to be perfect because that's going to be one of the squares for part 8 is
Ooh,
Autumn at the
okay.
Cat
Yeah.
Cafe. Yeah.
I'm actually looking at part A in our planning stuff, and there's
Hmm.
nothing filled out.
Yeah, no, we stopped. I stopped. So
This was the
I got to,
last one we planned for.
yeah. So this is where Kathy Fuller doesn't plan ahead again, but, but no, Autumn at the Cat Cafe, which comes out August 4th. It's available for pre-order now. And it's about a cat cafe, cats, a bookstore, an autumn, and a romance. So what more could you ask for? So that will definitely be one of the squares that we'll do, and I'll fill out that form
Yeah,
soon.
you got to update our plans.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. But I don't have to do anything now because I can just crochet your squares. That's what I plan
Well,
to do.
you got it. You've got to design the ones for the next thing because those have to be done at the same time by September.
Oh, I know. I'll get it done.
I know, but you said you don't
Yeah.
have to do anything now. Like, but
Not
yeah, you
right
do.
now. Not this moment in time. No, I don't have to do anything.
How long does it take you? Because I mean, it took me all of that 6 months that you gave me to
Um,
get through all those.
you know what? It takes me it doesn't take me that long. It probably takes me a couple weeks. Now, okay, to come up with the idea and figure out the colors and everything like that, it probably takes over, like over the 2 weeks. Like it doesn't take me exactly 2 weeks.
So that takes you
Think
longer than the actual designing the stitch pattern.
The hard part, well, so that includes designing the square and writing the pattern. Designing the square and crocheting the square is easy, is super easy, and I'll just pick something up. And I've got a couple of books that I use as a guide because I actually need the guide to write the pattern. But for the most part, I just kind of pick it up and start playing, and I love that part. Writing the pattern is a nightmare still. Doing this for a
Interesting.
year. My learning disability is dyscalculia. And crochet has really helped with that. It's been amazing. It has definitely helped. I'm better at computation. I'm better at figuring out stitch counts and things like that. So I highly recommend crochet if you struggle with math. Do it. I mean, you're going to hate part of it, but still do it because it helps. But I still have so much trouble with writing the patterns. And even if I usually have to do 3 or 4 drafts of the patterns before I get it, and then I still have errors in it. So I don't know if that's ever going to become easy for me. But the thing about granny squares is I've made a gazillion of them. I've made a ton of granny squares before we even started this. I made a massive king size quilt made out of a king size Afghan made out of granny squares, plus another Afghan. Plus, I used to give away throws with granny squares in them. So I have
Huh.
a lot of practice with them, and that helps. But so I'm not, so it was nice to have a break from writing and designing. I can tell you that. So I appreciate you doing that.
See, so you start by picking your colors and just playing with your yarn. Just you start
Yep.
crocheting.
Yep.
And then once you've crocheted the square, then you go back and try to write your pattern. Am I understanding your process?
Yeah, I start playing with it, and then like I'll go to, I've got it, like I said, a few Granny Square books. So I'll kind of be like, well, let me try this. Well, what's the count going to be for that? If I do, because now when you're trying to figure out, especially that one quilt square, you got to figure out what the counts are going to be and make sure that they're all correct. And but it starts with play, and then I get out the book, and then I fine tune it, and then I'll even like I'll make it just like kind of like a couple alterations to an existing pattern just to, kind of mix it up, right? And I still copy it down wrong and still write it wrong multiple times. It's just really science needs to study that because I don't understand it. Usually you get better at those kinds of things. But the play part of it is what I really enjoy. I just absolutely, I do it with doilies too. I've made so many doilies now I can just pick up yarn and just make a doily or make a mandala. I mean, I've done them so often. I love it. I love crocheting in the round. I don't like crocheting back and forth as much.
Interesting. And see,
Yeah.
I'm very, very different. Writing the pattern, that part for me is super simple. No problem. I
Mhm.
sit down, I look at the cover, I pick out 4 colors. That's easy. Where I struggle is what to do after that. Like, what do I write? I got 4 colors and I know how to write a pattern. What am I going to write? No, I
Yeah.
have no idea. So I started by I took up the book cover and I thought of something we hadn't done. Remember, I told you when I designed the very first one, I tried to think of all the things we haven't done yet because I like to
Mhm.
do new things. And um, then I had a really hard time coming up with what I was going to do. So some of the things like this, I was doing blanket of knowledge and we used
Mhm.
these chain loops in one of the blanket
Mhm.
of knowledge blocks. So that's where I got the idea to incorporate that. But that block, it was just a big square and the chains just went straight up.
Yeah.
Figuring out how to make them in the corner,
Mhm.
that was rough. This one, this was actually a washcloth that like a scrubby, like a bath scrubby
Oh,
pattern
yeah,
that I had
yeah.
seen somewhere else. So converting that from a bath scrubby with like a handle to a square took me forever.
Well, yeah, it would have taken me forever to figure that. I mean, yours are pretty complex that we're doing. So,
And then this
very
one,
nice.
I actually found because I'm very visual, so I look at them all on YouTube. So I looked
Mhm.
at this one I saw on YouTube and I was like, oh, that's really, really neat, the construction that she had. So then I sat down with her YouTube channel, and I wish I could remember um steps, step steps, crap, step steps. I have it written. Hold on, let me see. The construction method for this block was adapted from Step Steps Crafts Crochet Spiral Granny Square. So I actually used somebody else's construction method on this one, and I just
Gotcha.
changed the way that we did the colors because I think she had 5 colors in hers, and I might have changed a handful of other things, but I did use inspiration from her construction method for this uh, because I was just trying to come up with different ways to get a spiral, you know. So that one wasn't so bad because I had a starting place from somebody else.
Right,
And same
right,
thing for this one, like how to make a spiral like a spiral circle. That was easy.
right. Yeah.
Those you can find everywhere. So this one wasn't so bad. But these two, figuring those out, and this one, getting this one adapted from how to do it
Mm-hmm.
flat in a block to how to put it in a corner. That was hard. And then, like I
Yeah.
told you, same thing with this one. Was a YouTube picture. Like I will find pictures, but it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
really a good explanation of how to do it. So then I spent a long time figuring out how to
Yeah.
make the picture from a YouTube short into a functioning square. And then I don't remember where, like I said, I was using this stitch. What did you call it?
I think
Top
that's top
stitch?
stitching. Yeah.
I was using that in a different project and I just thought, oh, I just want to play with the top stitch. So that was easy
Mm-hmm.
because I just camel stitch. It's called camel stitch.
Oh, is it called camel? Okay, maybe it's something
Yes.
different than top
So I was
stitch.
making a border on my blankets of knowledge
Mm-hmm.
using single color camel stitch. And I went, I wonder if I can do the same thing in multicolors. And so, but that was pretty
Mm-hmm.
easy to figure out. That's
Yeah.
what it was called, camel stitch.
Love
But the
that.
camel stitch, it would normally be all 3 in the same color. You wouldn't usually
No, I like the
change the
gradient.
color.
Yeah,
So,
the change of colors. Yeah, no, it's
but
really
yeah, so
good.
the hard part for me is figuring out what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it because I have not
Hmm.
crocheted enough to just sit down and work
Yeah,
something up.
yeah,
But once I've got the idea and I've got it figuring out, like I can sit down as I crocheted each one of these several times.
yeah.
The first time was me figuring out how to get it to work. The second time I would do it, I would crochet it and write the pattern out as I went. And then the
Hmm.
third time I would crochet it would be when I filmed the tutorial and I
That's
could
what I that's what
read
I
my
did.
pattern and I check for
Hmm.
mistakes. So occasionally
Yep.
I would have to stop filming and go, oh, I wrote something down wrong. But
Yep,
that like functions
mhm.
as like test knitting my own work effectively.
That's exactly how I do it. Although I don't go, oh, occasionally I wrote something down. Every time I've written something down wrong.
Okay, well,
But
there's been
yeah.
at least one
Mhm.
mistake in every single
Yeah.
pattern.
Yeah.
So it's not like I get it perfectly right. And I've written enough knitting patterns and crochet patterns that even when I think I have ironed out all the mistakes, people find mistakes. So, I mean, that's just
Yeah.
no matter how hard I try, seems to be the nature of the beast.
Well, and everybody's very generous about, you know, nobody really gets bent out of shape about mistakes. Everybody knows there's errata. There's errata in books, it's just it happens.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
So if you have a question for the author or the designer, you can email those questions to my YouTube email, which will be on the screen somewhere because I don't know my own email. But it should be appearing above my head or somewhere on
Mhm.
the screen. And send us your questions and we'll ask the author. And that would be really great because so far I've had no ask the author questions. Nobody has any questions for you except me. I come up with a question almost every time.
Yeah, yeah.
Surely I'm not the only curious one. Come on. And otherwise, other than that, you guys just hop in and join us anytime. You can crochet all the squares, one of the squares, none of the squares. You can read all of the books, one of the books, none of the books. You pick how much you want to participate. If you want to go back and do old books and old squares, feel free. If you just want to start now and move forward, I think how many more of these are we planning? I thought we were planning at least 10, maybe 11. Is that right?
Well, we're doing 10. We're doing 60 squares. So it'll
Okay,
be
10.
10. So we're going to be on 8. So
But see,
yeah,
if
we've
you
got
keep
3.
writing more books, we may need to add in an 11th one just so we can get all your books done.
Well, that's true. That's true. By the
Because
time we get
I've
that
at this
done.
point, we've done so many. I want to make sure I have a granny square for all of your books.
Yeah, all of the books that are still in print. So I've got some books I wrote early on that I think they're still in print on Amazon, but you can't really find them anywhere else. So there were some early historical books I wrote. But yeah, I'll have to go once I fill out that form and plan for the rest of the ones. But I think because I've written over 70 books, but again, that's including some books that are super hard to find. So I didn't want to really include those.
Yeah,
Because
looking at my
I wanted it to
little
be where
list of
people,
your books here. You
yeah,
can get this list on her website, KathleenFuller.com. And I've kept
yes.
track of everything I've read, everything, how I own it, if it's a hard copy or a Kindle or an
Wow.
Audible book. So I know, well, because it matters sometimes when I'm trying to find one of our books.
Yeah.
Like if I'm looking for a hard copy, but it's on Audible,
Mm-hmm.
I'm never going to find it.
Right, right. Yeah, it saves you
So,
time. Very
right. So I keep
organized.
track of that. And I keep track of if I've read it, if we've done an RCal on it, and then I actually, if it was designed, if the RCal was designed by me, that's its own color
Ooh,
too.
yes. Yep.
Oh. And I've had to add in, like you can see, I don't know if you can see here, I've had to hand write in a few things that weren't on the list.
Oh, which means I need to get that updated then. Thank you for
Yeah,
pointing that out.
not very many, but a few.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'll definitely
I need to update this because we did
get
Written
that.
in Love, The Promise of the Letter, and Words from the Heart, right? We did an
Yep.
RCal for this.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mark it.
Did
I'm a
those.
little outdated. My list is outdated. We haven't done A Reluctant Bride, An Unbroken Heart, or A Love Made New,
No,
have
that's
we?
coming up. That's coming up.
Okay. And we just did the Double Dose of Love, the Amish Mail Order Brides. We did it, Hearts of Middlefield. That's the one we just did.
Mm-hmm.
Since I'm here, have we done the Middlefield family, Treasuring Emma, Faithful to Laura,
Nope,
Letters to Kate? Okay,
not
we haven't
yet.
done that one.
And then
See,
there's
and
a
I
Faith of
haven't
Her
even
Own.
read those. So most of the time,
Oh.
like I have already read all the ones we just did, and all the
Mm-hmm.
ones I just designed for us to do. I've read all those books, but
Nice.
I reread them most of the time. I think there was one
Mm-hmm.
time when I didn't quite finish, but I usually reread them. And the Mysteries of Middlefield, have we done those? Summer Secret, Secrets
Nope,
Beneath it. Nope.
not yet.
So we still need to do those.
Yeah, we got plenty more books to do.
We got lots of books. So you might
Yeah.
have to think about making 11 parts because when we finish this series, unless you've got like a book you're currently writing, I want everything that I'd like to have
Okay.
everything on this list. I'd like to have a granny square
Okay.
book
Okay. Well, now
because
that you've said
I
that,
am OCD and we have to complete it.
that's so funny because I'm like, well, 60 sounds like a good number.
No, we
That
can't
was
have
very
any that are left.
arbitrary.
We have to do all of them.
Yeah. Well, I'm working on
And then I'll make a
a
Kathleen Fuller project out of them. I'm thinking now I'm going to
oh,
have so many about making like a long duster and knitting the sleeves,
oh, that
like
would be
filling
cool.
in. That's kind of what I'm thinking I'm
Mhm.
going to do because I'll
I'm
just,
still, yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what I'm gonna do. I mean, I make multiple projects. I mean, I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
I don't want to make a blanket because I have 8 million blankets.
Yeah.
Um,
And you live
but
in Texas.
I live in Texas. I probably wouldn't need a worsted weight acrylic duster either, but I want to do, I pretty much decided I want to make one big project with all of them.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm kind of thinking. I've seen some different people do crocheted granny square jackets or dusters or
Mm-hmm.
cardigans where they sew the cardigan in and then seam up with knitting or knit sleeves or knit panels between. They kind of
Mm-hmm.
incorporate knitting. So I'm kind of leaning towards something like that. Worst case scenario, if I decide I don't want to invest too much time in it, I might just seam them all together and make a poncho. That would be really easy.
Oh, there you go. That would work.
Like
I'm actually
one big
thinking,
square with a hole, where I don't seam the middle.
right, right, right. No, that would be good. I'm actually thinking, I have a friend that has like 100-year-old quilt on her wall.
Oh,
And
cool.
I'm thinking I might just
If you
end up
can get a
making
picture
it.
of it before I have to post this for everyone, send it to me and I'll put a picture of the 100-year-old quilt.
Yeah, I'll do that when I go to her house. I didn't even think about, I'll get her to take a picture of it. But I'm thinking about maybe doing that and then putting it up in, this is my office. I have a wall here that you guys cannot see, but I'm thinking about rearranging my office. There's another wall, my dining room wall. Sometimes I film in there. And so I'm thinking about doing that because I want it to be something I don't necessarily want it worsted weight. I mean, I live in Arkansas. It's just like
Hmm.
Texas.
It's warm.
And I get warm really quick. I don't like heavy things either. I like very light things. But it would be very cool to just have all of it displayed on the wall. And I'm thinking about doing it with black. So it would be kind of like a stained glass type thing. But
You could
anyway,
really get fancy and organize your granny squares from like the first books you ever wrote and put them like you could either put them in order of when you wrote them
Mhm.
or you could put them in order by series. You could get
Yeah, I
really
was,
creative.
yeah, or by colorway, by
Oh
season,
yeah.
you know,
Like
yeah.
how that would be really pretty if like things that are bluer start at one
Hmm.
corner and you move into like the oranges and yellows or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That, kind of like, yeah. Oh, see,
We
there's all
might
kinds.
have to have, you're going to hate me. We might have to have a 12th episode that
Mhm.
shows how we used the squares when
No, we
we
do
put
need
them
to have
on.
that. I don't hate you for that. We need to have that because we need to, give people ideas and things like that for, you have
Right.
all these
And this has been
squares.
such a long-term
Yeah.
project. Like
Yeah.
I want to see how you finish yours. I assume people want to
Hmm.
see how I finish mine.
Well, I want to see how you finish yours. Yeah. Let's do that. Let's plan on that. So,
So
okay.
minimum 10,
Mhm.
probably 11 or 12.
Yeah.
But it does have an end. We promise not to do this indefinitely.
That's right.
I
It
mean, you
does
may
have an
keep
end.
writing, but once we've kind of caught up with the
Hmm.
number of books you've written at that time, like it takes you what, about a year, give or take a little, to get a book out? Nine
Yeah.
months to a year?
Well,
I mean, not for you to write it,
yeah.
but for you
I
to
mean,
write it and it get
I
actually
used to have,
published and
yeah, no, I used to have like 3 or 4 books a year come out. Now I'm just doing one a year that
yeah.
comes out. So that may pick up in the future, but right now it's just one a year. So slowing down like that, we'll get caught up pretty easily.
Right. So once
Yeah.
we get caught up, I don't see like dragging it out forever because I want to finish something.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But I would like to
Mhm.
continue until we get caught up. Like once we have done everything that you've got published, then
Yes. Just for
then we
you,
can stop.
just so your
Thanks.
symmetry will be.
It will
Yeah.
really, have you ever had like an itch in your brain that you can't scratch? That's how unfinished stuff is for me. It's like
Oh
an
yeah,
itch that
no,
I
I've had
can't
that.
scratch. Like
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
be
no, I've
sitting
had
there
that.
digging out your books and making up granny squares by myself so I could finish.
Wow.
I
Okay,
gotta
wow.
finish this list and anything you come out until we're done.
Gotcha.
I'm not
Gotcha.
too worried about
Okay.
anything you wrote that you said's out of print that's not on this list. I'm not hunting
Mhm.
down. I'm not making more work for
Yeah,
myself on
no,
purpose.
no. I don't want to do
But
that. I want
you,
people,
you
this is
made the
supposed to be
mistake of
easy.
giving me a list,
And now we
and now
must
we have to
complete
check
it.
off the list.
Yep, yep, yep.
She's like, mental note, no longer provide lists to Katie.
No, no, this is good. This is good.
All right, my friend, are we done?
We're done. We're done. I've got to leave here pretty soon, but yes, thank you. Did
So
you want to
thanks
add
to all
something
our viewers.
else at the end?
I don't think so. Just make sure I don't remember offhand whose channel this one's going out on.
I can't remember
Oh,
either. I
it's
think
going
it's
out on mine.
yours.
Yep,
Yeah.
it's going out on mine channel. So you will be watching this at Duck Potatoes World of Wonderful Fiber Art. But make sure you hop on over to Kathleen Fuller Books and Hooks and check out her YouTube channel. That's where you're going to find all of the tutorials if you want to actually crochet any of these granny squares, as well as a few little extra things she has over there. So make sure you visit her as well. And if you're not a subscriber, we never do this, but we should. We're bad. If you are not a
We
subscriber,
should.
please subscribe, like our video, give us a comment. It helps YouTube know that people are watching, and it helps YouTube
Hmm.
to show our video to more people so other people can join in. And yeah, thank you for being here. I really
Yes.
appreciate anybody that's been here and stuck around this long, and definitely anybody that's new. Either way, so thank you so much, and we're glad that you
Hmm.
guys are enjoying it as much as we are.
Yes. Thank you very much.
We will
See you
see you
next
in about
time.
8 weeks, guys.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.